You're gonna help me out. Thank you. You know the next part? Okay, I'm going to have to run out at 1:30 to go to a dental appointment.
Oh yeah, love those.
You can go first. Just take my teeth along. Okay, you're going to have to share, please, okay?
You'll find that when you're sitting in the waiting room, as long as your teeth will suddenly do it.
Can you pull that off before I even leave? Everybody has something to look into? Okay.
The crypt is too small.
Okay, so you want to shut this window, please? It's a little bit too noisy.
We're not doing it, Shlomo?
We are. Where do you think if someone gets the stuff from?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yesterday we did a little bit of Kabbalistic material, and we spoke about Yichud Gamur, complete unification, and we spoke about Yichud Chitzoni and Yichud Pnimi, external unification and deep inner unification. And the way God set up the world is that there's a Mashpia and there's a Mekabel, okay? And the giver, the one who provides the flow, and the Mekabel is the recipient. The Mashpia is spoken about in masculine terms, the Mekabel is spoken about in feminine terms. That's a tour guide who doesn't pay attention to the street signs. Shut it. But nothing is going on in the neighborhood besides them. Anyway, so so I can give you a glass of water, and you and I can be as distant as ever before. I'll speak to you later. I'm in the middle of a shir. And nothing deep has happened between us. I still was mashpia, you were still mekabel, but it was all chitzoni, it was all external. Okay, so that's not, it's a form of a yichud. There was an exchange, there was a transfer, some kind of connection, but it wasn't an inner deep connection, and therefore the recipient, it's like, it's like almost like taking a drink out of a Coke machine, type of thing. Like you don't get married to the machine because you got a can of Coke from the machine, right? But then in order to have a yichud gamur, there has to be that the giver is giving from his or her innermost essence, and the recipient has to be ready to receive it. In other words, you've got to approach the recipient and draw them close so that they can receive your light. And then in your giving your light and giving your life energy and giving your flow of divine life, and it's absorbed by the recipient, there's a complete unification that's taken place between the mashpia and the mekabel. Okay. Now we started to do the chadodi, and Shabbos is called a kala, and Shabbos is called a malka. Shabbos is called the Shabbos bride, and also the Shabbos queen. Okay. So this is coming from a mimer that the Frierdiker Rebbe said in 1929 at 2829 at his son-in-law's wedding, at the Rebbe's wedding. So this page that I gave you today is going a little bit further into that. It's going to be a little bit easier to understand. And don't worry that you didn't get everything yesterday. It was all Kabbalistic language that takes a long time to learn the letters of that language. Okay? So everybody knows that when you go to a wedding, it starts off with Kabbalat Panim. It starts off with, there's the chassan is sitting at his table, the kala is sitting at her place, right? And people are coming and greeting the chatan, and people are coming and greeting the kala. And then everybody goes with the chatan to go to the kala, and there's the badekin, right? And then they go to the chuppah, okay? So this is going to give you a little bit of the inner, deeper meaning of all of that. So we'll just read the top of the page, and then we'll read the stuff that's in the, so to speak, italics and in the two columns, okay? So the Hinei Chdiv, it says, Ki al kol kavod chuppah. There's a verse in Yoel, I believe it is, that says that over all kavod, there is the chuppah. Above all the honor is the chuppah. So Shehem Beit Bechinot, we're going to see, it's going to explain it in the commentary in a moment. These are two aspects, Kvod Chatan and Kvod Kala. There are two aspects of kavod, the kavod of the Chatan and the kavod, the honor of the Kala. The Chatan, Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Chatan is the Holy One, blessed be He. As it says, on the day of his marriage, Zo Matan Torah, that's the day that God gave us the Torah, that was the day that Hashem married us. Shakadosh Baruch Hu, God is, it's okay, the door's open. HaKadosh Baruch, God is the Chatan, and Knesset Yisrael is the Kala. Okay, so now let's see, let's go to the first column. So he says, Inyan pnei hachatan v'kala b'chuppah hamakifa aleihem. So he's going to be explaining over here this matter of the greeting the chatan and the kala, and the chuppah that then covers over both of them, that surrounds them. Nidba'er la'el, it's been explained before, asher kedei sheyuchal liyot yichud chatan v'kala, in order for the possibility of unification between the bride and the groom, shehem shnei hafchim, being that they are two opposites. So to facilitate that, nimshach milmala or elaki elyon biyoter, there's drawn from above a very high divine light that provides the opportunity for the unification of these two opposites. And it's through the union that nimshachot kol habrachot, that all the blessings come down. Right? If the union doesn't take place, the blessings don't come down. In this chapter, the Yivaer Asher Ba'or Elyon Zeh is going to explain that in this supernal light, Hanikra Bechinat Makif, which is being described with the word Makif, meaning surround, Yesh Shtei Bechinot, there's two aspects. There's Bechinat Kavod, there's the aspect of Kavod, Bechinat Chuppah, and there's the aspect of the Chuppah. V'hein nimshachot mitgalot b'shvil hayichut haba achar kach. And these two aspects, these two makifim, these two surround lights are coming down in order and are revealed so that the yichud that follows it can take place. So with this he's explaining the reason behind the custom of Israel at a wedding. Before the Chatan and Kala have their yichud, before they have their unification, Shehu Ikar Inyan HaNisuin, which is the actual consummation, completion of the marriage. So mechabdim tchila et hachatan. First, we honor the chatan v'hakala and the bride, the chatan and the bride. The Kabbalat p.8, right? So coming to the wedding is the greeting, the honoring of the chatan and the kala, right? Going over in mazel tov, ta and so on, right? And singing a little bit, etc. And then we go to the chuppah hamakefet aleihem, which covers over both the chatan and the kala, right? So there's the kvod chatan, there's the honoring of the chosin, there's the honoring of the kala, and then the chuppah over both of them, gam yachad. So ubehekdem. So prior to going into that, Nidba'ir La'el, we explained before, Shekol ha'inyanim sheyeshnam ba'adam lamata nimshachim u'mishtalshelim mi'ha'inyanim lamala. This is a basic concept in Kabbalah and Chassidus. Everything that happens over here is an evolvement downwards from something above. Okay? Malchute da'ara ki malchute de'rekia. The kingship on land reflects the kingship in heaven. Okay? So everything is evolving down from something that's going on above. And so too in what we're talking about, marriage. This order, this order that we start the wedding with first with the Kabbalat Panim, with the greeting of the bride and the groom. And then we go to the chuppah. Nimshach u'mishtalshel is drawn and it evolves down. Mihanisuin v'hayichud shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'Knesset Yisrael. It's evolved down from the wedding and the unification of God and the community of Israel. Shenimshelu b'shir hashirim lechatán v'kala. And that's why the whole Shir Hashirim is all a parable about this wedding between God and Israel. The Song of Psalms. Because these few sentences are very important, because the completeness, the completion of this yichud, of the unification between God and the community of Israel, it's not going to be complete until the future, until Mashiach comes. That's when the marriage will be completed between God and Israel. And amongst the various destinies of this ultimate redemption, it says, Ki al kol kavod chuppah, that over all the kavod there's a chuppah. V'inyan ha-chuppah b'katuv zehu. And what is the chuppah that's going to be? What's going to be the chuppah in the future? Shetechafef shchinati aleihem, that my shchina will be hovering above you. היינו, שבנישואי הקדוש ברוך הוא בכנסת ישראל לעתיד לבוא, that in the ultimate marriage that's going to take place in the future, יתגלה אור אלוקי עליון ביותר, הנקרא מקיף. There's going to be this most high divine light that will be revealed, and this light is known as a makif, as a surround light. In other words, it's a light, it's here too, but we cannot damage it. Okay? The chuppah, and that's the meaning of the word chuppah, covering. The language of ki al kol kavod chuppah, mashma'o, it means שתחילה מתגלה אור אלוקי הנקרא בחינת כבוד. First, there's a revelation of the divine light that is called kavod, honor. אחר כך בחינת חופה, and then that's followed by חופה. וכך הוא גם בנישואי חתן וכלה למטה, and so too when חוסן and kala get married here below, שתחילה ישנו כבוד, it starts with כבוד, and then בקבלת פני חתן וכלה, with the greeting of the chassan and the kala. אחר כך החופה is followed by the chuppah. וכל זה הוא הכנה לצורך הייחוד שהוא עיקר עניין הנישואים. And all that is preparation for the yichud that takes place after the chuppah. Okay? So we're going to go now into the chadadi, right? So remember, Shabbos is called a bride, and Shabbos is called a queen, right? Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, question. Yeah.
This the chuppah represents the Shekhinah, or I miss?
No, you didn't miss. Yes, the chuppah that we have now. Okay, so there are two kinds of light. There's or pnimi, and there's or makif. Okay, now just keep in mind that we're using language that is, we're using it as parables. Don't think about it geographically. Okay, so or pnimi, like when we speak about imminent light, right? So this is the way it is because of the imminent light that it's got, right? There's a surround light, but not that it's elsewhere, but it's a light that is so high that it is not contained by the vessel itself. Okay. Now, kavod, honor, and chuppah, these are two surround lights. These are two very high lights, two very high divine lights that are coming down at the wedding to facilitate the complete yichud between the chatan and the kala.
And kavod comes from people coming
So we come in there, and so he goes on. We didn't go further in this moment, but he goes on. What's the kavod of the chatan in the marriage of God and Israel? The kavod of the chatan is God's love for Israel, and the kavod of the kala is the love of the kala for God. Israel's love for God. Now, the relationship between honor and have a good Shabbos. No, he has to go. And the relationship between honor and love is something that we'll be talking about, not today, but we'll be talking about it in Yisrael, okay? But it's just very briefly, it's a very, very deep thing. Your honor is that the people in your presence feel elevated by your love for them. By your love for them. Okay? Okay, so let's take the Rav Shlomo book and let's take a look at what he says about the Chadadi. I need one too.
Thank you.
Page 105. Okay, everybody has what to look into? Yeah. So, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Nekavla, right? Come, my beloved, let us go to greet the bride. Let us receive the face of Shabbos. He says, Reb Shlomo, Ma ze pnei Shabbat nikabla. What does it mean, let us receive the face of Shabbos? The Shabbat, on Shabbos, Yehudi mikabel panim chadashot. Shabbos, you get a new face. Gewalt, awesome. Eze panim yesh li Yehudi. What a beautiful face a Jew has on Shabbos. אבל אתם יודעים שהפנים, that the face, one's face, הם רק קצת מהפנים של הנשמה. You know, the word panim is the same word as pnim. Panim is the face, and it's pnim means pnim, pnimi, pnimiyut, interior, the inside. Okay. And why is it the same word? Because it's on the face that you see the inside of the person, right? Particularly the eyes. So he says that what you see on someone's face is only a bit of the inside, the interior of the soul. Because the soul illuminates inwardly, l'toch tochi, into my innermost being. The Gemara omeret, and the Talmud tells us, Shakadosh Baruch Hu birech et am Yisrael b'ma'or panim. The Gemara tells us that God blessed Israel with the illumination of the face, or inner illumination. אז אנחנו מוכנים לקבל את האור של שבת על הפנים שלנו. So he says that when we're singing and we say Pnei Shabbat Mikabla, is we're sort of saying to God, I'm ready for my new face. Okay? Let it be evident, let it shine on my face. Rabotai, im adam hu yafeh v'al yado omeid adam mechuar. If there's a beautiful person and standing next to him is an ugly person. Ha'adam hayafeh nishar yafeh. The beautiful person remains beautiful. V'mechuar nishar mechuar. And the ugly one remains ugly. Page 105. Aval b'Shabbat Kodesh, but on the Holy Shabbos, im Yehudi malei ba'or Shabbat, if a Jew is filled with the light of Shabbos, if such a Jew mistakel al Yehudi shelo mamash malei ba'or Shabbat, and he's looking at a Jew who's not really filled with the light of Shabbos, rak im ha'inayim shelo, just with his eyes, hu yachol latet lo et ha'or shel Shabbat. You can give the other person the light of Shabbos just with your eyes. Understand, it's so to speak contagious, right? You can, if you really have the light of Shabbos on your face, just looking at another Yid, it's going to get reflected on them too. Rabotai, אני מקווה שפעם נזכה לזה. My friends, I hope that we will merit this at least once. שכל יהודי ששומר שבת, that every Jew who's keeping Shabbos, שרואה יהודי שהוא עדיין קצת מחוץ לתחום שבת, and he sees a Jew who's still somewhat outside the domain of Shabbos, שיגיד לו שבת שלום עם כל הלב, that he should say Shabbat Shalom with all his heart, עם כל הנשמה, with all his soul. אני לא מבין מדוע כביכול, I don't understand why, so to speak, kama Yehudim datiyim kamsanim im Shabbat, why some Jews, or some religious Jews are being so stingy with Shabbos. Motzim et Shabbat rak la'atzmam, they want it just for themselves. V'haim chaser lahem Shabbat, is there a shortage of Shabbos that they have to keep it for themselves? Shabbat b'shvil kol am Yisrael, Shabbat is for everybody. Okay? So the first thing that the Shlomo is teaching over here is that don't be stingy, right? Let's come and receive Shabbat. Let's receive Shabbat, and to really, really receive it, right? That it should be evident on your face, right? Means that if you actually achieve that, everybody that you're going to look at is going to be like, wow, this is Shabbos, and they're going to connect with it. So I'm sure you've been at weddings that you have that experience, that just seeing the chosn and saying Mazel Tov, or seeing the Kala and saying Mazel Tov, right? There's such an exchange of beautiful light between the people, right? Okay, that's kabod, right? Like, in other words, nobody has to tell you when you're at a wedding, honor the groom, honor the bride. It's just so evident, right? Because it's such a strong light. It's such a strong light of kavod. There's such a strong light of love, and it just comes over. It just comes over your face, and hopefully you're taking it inside yourself as well. And then when we look at each other, it's like awesome, right? Look at your wedding pictures. You'll see. Okay. So relating to what we were just talking about before, that the wedding begins with going out and greeting the bride and the groom. Shabbos begins with going out and greeting the Shabbos queen, greeting the Shabbos bride, right? Is right, and the song the Chadodi, right? We learned that when was it? It was made based on these rabbis who would go out into the fields with their students, with their children, with their families, and they say, "Let's go out and greet Shabbos," right? Let's go out and greet Shabbos. Let's go out and welcome Shabbos. So we've been talking about Kabbalat Shabbat the last couple of weeks, receiving the Shabbos, and to receive the Shabbos, it means that to mamish receive it. It should be like, like when you go to these fairs, and there are these people who do, they paint your faces, like let your face be painted by Shabbos, so to speak, right? Let it shine on your face. So I mentioned the other day that there were two stories, right, that I had to tell you. Remember? One of them was about Shabbos is coming. And what was the other one? Chaskell Likov Shabbos? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this, the Chaskell Likov Shabbos you've heard. You'll join me, yeah? Likov Shabbos, Likov Shabbos, Likov Shabbos, Likov Shabbos. So there was a Hasidic Rebbe, but it was known as Rebbe Ushbetzin. Ushbetzin was the Yiddish name for Auschwitz. He was this Hasidic Rebbe in Auschwitz.
Before it was.
Before the war.
Right. Yeah, it was a town.
Yeah, I'm saying in Poland, the Jews had Jewish names for all the cities they lived in. So Ushbetzin was the Yiddish name for Auschwitz. And this Rabbi would tell the story of a Yid whose name was Chaskele, who was known as Chaskele Lekavod Shabbos. Chaskele was an orphan kid, a strong boy, and when he was 12 years old, it was evident to everybody that he didn't have the intelligence and the patience to sit in the yeshiva. So he started working as a sabal, he started working as a porter in the marketplace. And he had this peculiar custom. When, people would say, "Hey, Chaskele, can you carry my potatoes home for me?" And he'd say, "Chanale, are any of these potatoes going to be for Shabbos?" And she'd say, "Oh, Chaskele, there's 10 kilos of potatoes here. For sure some of it is going to be for Shabbos." And he'd pick it up over his head, and he'd sing, "Likovit Shabbos, not all by myself, Likovit Shabbos." Likovit Shabbos, Likovit Shabbos. And by Wednesday, he didn't even ask people if the stuff was for Shabbos. He would just be singing the Kabbalat Shabbos the whole day every time he picked something up. So, Rabbi Herschel writes that when he was a young man, 17 years old or so, he felt that he needed a Rebbe. He felt he needed a spiritual guide. And he heard that Reb Shlomo Kamenker was coming, Reb Shlomo, I think it was Reb Shlomo Kamenker was coming to town in a certain place, and he had a feeling that this might be his Rebbe. So Friday night, the shul was packed. Everybody came to daven with Reb Shlomo. And after davening, everybody was getting into line to say good Shabbos to the Rebbe, except for two people, Chatzkale, who everybody used to make fun of him. They used to call him Chatzkale Lekubet Shabbos. And he didn't get into line because he just didn't think that, why would the Rebbe even want to say hello to me? And I didn't get into line because I wanted to see how the Rebbe was going to relate with Chatzkale. Anyway, everybody finished saying good Shabbos to the Rebbe. We're at the back of the shul. And the Gabbai is helping the Rebbe put on his winter coat.
Who's telling this stuff?
Rebbe Herschel Shpitziner. And the Rebbe turns around and he sees us and he says, "Hey, my friends, aren't you going to come and say good Shabbos?" So I quickly went behind Chatzkale because I wanted him to be in front of me. And he had no choice. He went up to the Rebbe and the Rebbe takes his hand and says, "Good Shabbos. What's your name?" And he says, "My name is Chatzkale." And the Rebbe says, "And do you happen to have another name too?" So he says, "They call me Chatzkale Lekubet Shabbos." And the Rebbe is holding Chatzkale with his two hands, and he starts to cry, and he says, what an honor to be called Lekubet Shabbos. Anyway, he held Chatzkale's hand like that for a few moments, and then finally I got to say good Shabbos to him too, and I stayed with him the whole Shabbos. And it was clear to me that this is my Rebbe. After Shabbos, I followed my Rebbe. I went to be his disciple, and then when he passed away, I became the Rebbe. But interestingly, Chatzkale had disappeared after that Shabbos. Nobody knew where he was. And years later, I was in a town doing a Shabbos, and late Thursday night, I heard somebody walking in the streets, and I hear somebody singing, Lekubet Shabbos, Lekubet Shabbos, Lekubet Shabbos, Lekubet Shabbos. And then I realized that my Rebbe had taken me as a student and made me into a Rebbe, but that he made Chatzkale one of the 36 hidden tzaddikim. Now there's a sequel to the story. You know Elyon? So when Elyon, who grew up on the Moshav, I always say that if Shlomo would have had a son, Elyon is like the model of what he would have been like. So Elyon got married about 14 years ago, a bit more, was living here in the neighborhood. And Leila, who's from Montreal, they were expecting a child, and they lived just in Shirsley over here. And Elyon has got this nice big loud voice, and whenever he'd go to the shuk and he'd buy something, particularly from Wednesday on, he would do Lekubet Shabbos! Lekubet Shabbos! Really loud, and you'd hear him across the shuk. And one day he went to daven mincha. There's a shul on Yafo known as the sundial shul. You've seen that? There's a shul with a big sundial right across from the tracks. And they were waiting for a minyan. In the meantime, there's this rabbi that gets up and he's talking. And he says, "I don't know what's going on. There's these wild people around. Like today in the shuk, there's this guy screaming, Lekubet Shabbos, Lekubet Shabbos. It's only Wednesday." And Elyon is sort of like sliding down in his seat. And then he says, and these people, they're saying, mitzvah gedol aliyos b'simcha. Where does it say such a thing that it's a big mitzvah to be b'simcha? I say, simcha gedol aliyos b'mitzvah is a big joy to be doing a mitzvah, but where does it say that it's a mitzvah to be joyous? Anyway, later that night,
Who was saying that? A guy in the same
some rabbi in the shul, yeah. So later that night, Elyon is at home, and Layla says, I gotta have fish. So, okay, where do you get fish? Like, 8, 9 o'clock at night. So there was a restaurant on Bezalel known as Beni Dagim. It's not there anymore.
That was great.
You stayed there?
This is kind of mafia front, but it was great.
It wasn't the mafia front.
I know, but it was Ozone.
They were in the kitchen, don't worry. Anyway, it was a good restaurant. And it was called Benny because there was this Yid whose name was Benny, and he had a stand in the open street of the Shuk, a fish stand. And he was famous for, and anyway, they go to the restaurant, they're looking at the menu, they're looking for the cheapest thing on the menu because they didn't really have any money. They ordered the cheapest thing, they were going to share it. And the waiter comes out a few minutes later with 2 big platters, like of the most expensive, beautiful fish in the restaurant, and he puts it down in front of them. They called the waiter back and they said, this is a mistake, we didn't order this, we can't afford this. So the waiter takes it back in the kitchen, comes back a couple of minutes later with the same platters. The waiter says, it's for you. The boss wants you to have it. Who's the boss? And he points to Benny Dagim, he points to Mr. Benny, who all day long would stand in the shuk, and at night it was his restaurant. So he comes over to say hello to them, and he says to Elyon, he says, and he wasn't religious. He says to Elyon, when you screamed the Kabbalat Shabbos today in the shuk, you gave me back my soul. And I want you to come here every week with your wife and have a meal, have a feast on me. Okay. So screaming the Kabbalat Shabbos alone is not what does it, right? You have to receive. That's what Shlomo is saying. You have to receive Shabbos, and then once you've really received it, you don't even have to scream it. You can just look and say good Shabbos to someone, and it's like an altogether different story. Shlomo told us a story about this taxi driver that became a Baal Tshuva, and he said that, how did it happen? One day he's driving on Shabbos, he's sitting at a red light, and he sees this young man with a shtreimel and everything coming across the street with his children, and he's getting like all nervous. Is the guy going to attack him? But they came up, and as they were passing by the car, they all said good Shabbos to him in such a beautiful way that he said, I thought to myself, here I am driving around on Shabbos. My kids don't even know that it's Shabbos. All they want is money for this, money for that, and go to the beach. And look at this guy. He's like a king. He's walking to shul with his kids. He's glowing and he's basking in Shabbos, right? And that's when he decided, I'm going to do that too. Okay. So the Chada did the Krat Kala. Let's go and greet the bride because Pnei Shabbat Nekavah. When you're going and greeting the Chatan and the Kala at the wedding, you are not just giving them honor, you are receiving from them probably more than you're giving them. Okay? Because Shabbos is the source of the blessings for the whole week, and the bride is the source of the blessings for the union between the Chosin and the Kala. And like we saw yesterday, Chatan without a king without a queen is neither a king nor is he great. In other words, what we're trying to achieve over here is we're working towards the ultimate union between God and Israel. That's what we're working towards. Every yichud, particularly every marriage, but also every yichud, every exchange where there's a unification that's taking place, is completing another step towards that ultimate unification. Okay? So, just to take those words that we read before and to put them into simple street language. Okay? When you show your love for another person, that is your kavod, that is your honor, that is your aura. And when another person is within that aura and they feel uplifted within your aura by your love for them, that is your kavod, that is your honor. And that allows for the next light, which is also a makiv, which is also a very high light, the chuppah, to envelop both of you. And that facilitates the union, meaning to say, that brings God's blessing into this moment of unification, and God's presence is actually here, right at this moment. Okay? Why do we say hello to each other saying shalom or shalom aleichem? Shalom is one of God's names. This was instituted in the Talmud by the rabbis, because you're not supposed to say God's name in vain, right? And when you greet another person and you say shalom, what you're saying is, it's the two of us together that are complete. And when you realize that is you and the other person at this moment, even when you're saying good morning, that makes the completion. That is the manifestation of Hashem truly being here in this world.
Is it when you say shalom aleichem or when they respond?
Well,
They
they have to receive it. Respond, I will say with the word receive. Okay, in other words, they have to receive it. If they don't, you understand. But if you're really, like we said yesterday, if you find the light inside yourself, and you're sharing it in a way that they can receive it. It has to be in a way that they can receive it. Okay, you're sharing it in a way that they can receive it. Then the unification is an inner complete unification. Okay? And that's why we say hello to each other using God's name. To make God's presence a true reality in the world, rather than just to speak about God being in the world. Okay. Okay, I got to run to a dentist appointment, and so you should have a good Shabbos. We're having Shudas and Yiras Hashem. Anybody that's here is welcome to come and bring your friends, and you should have a good Shabbos.